what owning a black truck looks like 2 seconds after you clean it. What's happening, everybody? Hope you are having a wonderful Saturday evening. So, had a little bit of a snow event yesterday that wasn't supposed to be really anything. In fact, I read it was supposed to be like a dusting to an inch. And it turned out to be, I don't know, maybe like 3 to 5 inches, which is no big deal if you live in the Northeast. But the problem was there was 2 factors in it. Number one, the rate of snowfall, meaning how much snow was coming down per hour, was a big issue. And number 2 was the whole time it was snowing, it was below freezing. So it was creating a very icy situation on the roads. So in my very short drive yesterday, I know, I didn't have my camera. Sorry. Like I said, I didn't expect it to really be anything. And it turned out to be quite an eventful little trip just to go jog. So I basically took some notes on how the truck was, how some of the parts on the truck were, and most importantly, how did the tires handle a snowy, icy situation. So before we get into specifics about, parts on the truck and everything like that, overall the truck did really good. As I always talk to you guys about, the Platinum is the heaviest trim Tundra you can get. All right, this is the big, heavy Tundra of the group. And, in a snowy situation, that actually helps a lot because it keeps the weight down onto the road so you're not floating on the snow and sliding. So overall, on a 1 to 10, I'm going to give the entire truck with all the parts on it, I'm going to give it I'm going to say a 7. But now I will tell you why it gets a 7. So if we're going to go particularly into a few different things, I want to start on the supercharger. Now I'm going to be honest with you, kind of felt bad for the supercharger because the whole time that I was on the road doing whatever, weird accelerations here and there, you just heard the supercharger whining the whole time. So if the supercharger whine is an issue for you, you might want to think about it before you purchase it. In let's say a real world situation like yesterday when I was in the snow, it was very loud and it kept whining. I don't mind the whine at all, so I didn't have a problem with it. But if you're someone who's going to have an issue with that whine, you might want to look into it. I mean, like I said, if you're going to buy the supercharger and run it down a track, or you live in Southern California where it never snows, or Florida, you're going to be just fine. But in a snow situation where you're having, you're trying to keep the RPMs low, it was getting a little weird, and I'll get into that at the end. I don't want to give too much away yet, but we'll come back to the supercharger and why it was whining a lot. Number 2 thing I want to talk about on the truck is the NFAB steps. One of the questions I get all the time about the NFABs anytime a winter situation comes up is, do they collect a lot of snow? So what I did for you is I took a couple pictures of the steps right after I took my ride to jog and then to work and back. So here's what they look like. So as you can see, there was some major snow buildup on them, and you kind of got to be careful when you're stepping on the metal because ice does build up on the steps. I have a plan that I think I'm going to try at least and let you guys know if it works. I think what I'm going to do is on the steps, which the steps remind me a lot of like a 26-foot box truck type step where it's all metal with the holes in it for grip. I don't know. I never had success with those types of steps when I was driving like a box truck or anything. So I think what I'm going to try to do is lay some kind of grippy substance on the step to see if that helps at all. So I'll get back to you on that. We'll put it on the channel. We'll do a little video. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I guess I'll get new steps. But yeah, so the NFABs, they don't do bad, but on the fronts, that's right where the tires are throwing all their snow. So there's a huge buildup on it like you saw in the pictures. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of the most important part of the video, is the tires. If you don't know, if you're new to the channel, these are BFG KO2 all-terrains, 275/70 R18 tires, okay? Now, overall, I love the tire. I love everything about the tire. I'm actually shocked about how good the tire is, because I totally bought these tires on a whim. I did the tire purchase for the channel, like I always say. I wanted to get the volume leader in the all-terrain tire. So I pretty much did it with no major knowledge on how the BF Goodrich would be. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm slightly disappointed in the performance of the tire yesterday in the snowy, icy situation. Now, once again, to anyone that lives in like a serious, you know, snowy climate, Canada, more northern United States, you know, like when you get up into Michigan and, you know, upstate New York and New England, I know you're saying it was only 3 to 5 inches, which, trust me, I grew up in New York, so I know all about the snow there too. The issue was the ice. There was so much ice underneath the snow as it was falling, it was just freezing immediately. And that's kind of what I want to focus on with these tires. The thing about the tires that was shocking me is when I was in two-wheel drive, the tires were always wanting to slide. Always. I had the traction control light on all the time, and that's where I was bringing up the supercharger whine. Is every time I would try to go nice and easy, but even at speed, you'd start to get a little slip, and then you'd come off the pedal a little bit, or the traction control would cut out power, and then when you get back on, you'd constantly be hearing the supercharger. So that's what I meant about that. But I was a little shocked about how much the tires were pulling the truck around. And not around in like a 180 or a 360 situation or anything like that, but just how it was making it kind of float on the road. Now, I'm rocking 35 PSI. I normally do 40, but I knocked it down for winter weather, 5 PSI to get a little more tire contact on the road. And the suggested PSI is 35. So, I don't know, I was a little weirded out about how much the tires wanted to move. I'll show you a picture at the end of the video again, but like the tires aren't very good at self-clearing the snow, so you can see that they'll build up in the tread and it makes just like one big kind of flat surface, almost like a racing slick. And let me tell you what, I've had a lot of experience with mud tires and aggressive all-terrain tires like these are. They're not great in the snow at all, and they do build up in between the treads, but I was just shocked about how much the tire wanted to give out, or like wanted the truck to slide. When I was on the road later on in the night going to work, you had like, it stopped snowing and there was a bunch of snow on the road because they didn't plow yet, but a bunch of cars going through it made tracks. Well, when the Tundra was in the area of the snow where a car didn't roll over yet, that's when it was making the car feel like it wanted to slide out. Making the truck, feel like it wanted to slide out when I was getting that wavy feeling with it. So I'm gonna have to do further testing with the tires, but I mean, like, if I was at a stop sign and I push the gas pedal to go, and I don't even mean aggressively, I mean like I'm in winter weather and there's cars around, let me take my time and go easy, push the pedal and go, it would instantly put the traction control on because the tires would just want to spin. The saving grace of that, now if you're the type of person, I talked to a few people about this yesterday, if you're the type of person who wants your truck to slide out a lot for a good time, these tires will be perfect for you. But the good part is as soon as I put the four-wheel drive system on, the truck did not move an inch. Everything came together. It was a great ride. It was almost like how I'm driving right now on dry roads. The four-wheel drive system in the Tundra is amazing. I will always, always, always speak very, highly about it. And all the Tundras I've had, it's just a very robust, good four-wheel drive system. I never get any slippage. I never feel like, I don't know, anxious about driving in any kind of winter weather with that four-wheel drive system on. Kicks right on, the truck stops spinning at all. To the point where, like, at a stop sign, you would stop and try to get the tires to spin like they were doing in two-wheel drive, but they just won't at all. The four-wheel drive system, like I said, very, very good. So if you live in a situation where you're dealing with a lot of, if you like to off-road and mud and off-road situations with snow or whatever, Tundra, baby. Four-wheel drive system is awesome. Check it out. So I'm not going to say I'm fully disappointed in the tires yet. That was the first time I really ever had them in the snow. So I'm going to need more test time with it. I'm going to need some time when like a real snowstorm comes, like an insane one. So we're going to do, obviously, further testing on pretty much everything of the truck. The NFAB steps, the buildup, it was quite a bit like you saw in the pictures, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. All I had to do was kind of knock them a little bit and everything came off. And I just got to pay attention when I'm stepping up into it in an icy situation that those steps may be slippery. And we'll go from there. The tonneau cover, people always ask how snow and ice, what happens with the tonneau cover with snow and ice. No problems whatsoever. Just kind of pushes right off. The ice, there was a little bit of ice buildup on it, but nothing got in the bed. You know, it stays in shape. It doesn't bow down into the bed. I had a tonneau cover once, and anytime it would snow, it would like push down into the bed, and you'd pretty much be removing the tonneau cover, getting snow everywhere in the bed, which is against what you want to do. And if you had anything in the bed, it would be soaked. But the tonneau cover did really well. There wasn't any buildup on the dual exhaust. That didn't get annoying, you know, with how we were driving and whatever. So overall, the truck did really well. There was no creaks, nothing crazy. There was ice between the cab and the bed, and I kept hearing that sound, and it was a weird sound of just stuff like breaking off. And I'm like, what is breaking off? Turned out to just be ice that was between the cab and the bed falling down onto the road or hitting the pipe underneath, but nothing crazy. But yeah, overall, I really like the way the Tundra handled the snow. Like I said, I want to do more testing with the tires, man. And we're going to see where we go from there. One more thing about the tires. Now, the tires that come on the TRD Off-Road and TRD Pro are the Michelin, what are they, the LTX A2, I think they are, which is the Michelin all-terrain, but they're very street-worthy. They don't really have a crazy all-terrain look like these BFGs do. I must say, though, in all the winter situations I drove with those tires might be my favorite snow tire I've ever driven on. I was really shocked, especially in my 2014 TRD Off-Road, which was the first time I drove on them in the snow. They just didn't break like these BFGs did. So like in two-wheel drive, when I came off a light, even if I like put my foot on the pedal a little bit, it wouldn't slide. They would just grip. So if you have those tires, or if you're someone who's about to buy a TRD Off-Road, those tires are really good for winter. If you're someone with, you know, crazy mud terrain tires, you might want to keep those Michelin tires to the side for winter. Depends how you want to go about that. But those Michelins were amazing in winter driving situations. I never felt weird or worried or anything like that with them. So overall, it was a good experience, but I definitely want to do more testing. Another scary thing about winter driving is people who don't know how to drive, and then you add snow and ice. And, you know, you had everybody trying to get home from work yesterday. The problem is people think because you have four-wheel drive that you're invincible on the road. So there's nothing scarier than an uninformed four-wheel drive owner in snowy situations. You know, everyone's taking their time. I take my time. I don't care that I have a truck that's capable. I'm still going to take my time because I don't want to risk anybody's life or safety. And then you see over in the fast lane that isn't even a lane because it's completely snowed over, them blowing by you. And then up the road, you see one in a ditch because they don't, I don't understand. I have four-wheel drive. Like, when salesmen sell four-wheel drive vehicles, they should have to give a talk about how four-wheel drive does not make you invincible on the road to these people, because it is terrifying what some of these people do with driving. But anyway, that's my video of the day. Thank you for the rant. Sorry I didn't have the camera. Like I said, it was supposed to be a dusting to an inch. I didn't know what I'd be dealing with. But here's a couple pictures at the end. Just nice shots of the Tundra to put this video out on a good note. But yeah, if you have any comments or any questions about the snow travel, please let me know. Twitter and Instagram at TundraDude34, or just comment below the video. You guys have a good one.